Hello and welcome. I hope you and your families are all well. And welcome to the first video of 5 videos that are for you over the next 5 weeks. They will be available from every Monday for you to keep. Doesn't mean that you have to have that on a Monday. If you're busy on the Monday and you want to pick it up on the Tuesday, no problem at all. And the reason I've done it this way is because I wanted you to have something that you can keep and that you have access to whenever you wish, and that you can pause, you can rewind, you can fast forward. So, for instance, you want to miss a whole section out, you can go forward on it. And hopefully, there's enough options for everyone. My aim is to give you as many different exercises, a whole kind of catalogue of stuff that you can just dip in and out of for whenever you choose, different levels, different muscles, etc. And I've tailored it so generally we have that in 3 parts. The first bit will be warm-up standing exercises, part 2 will be floor exercises, and part 3 will be stretches. And over the weeks, we'll be using the wall, at home, some standing balance things, and just as much variety. I also welcome your thoughts, so feel free to message me if you've got any fantastic ideas that you'd like me to add. So thanks very much. Enjoy, and hopefully we will be together one day soon. Thank you. Welcome to today's Pilates session, and we're going to begin with a warm-up, which is really quite a mixed warm-up, uses lots of different muscle groups just to get the mobilisation through the joints in the body. So beginning with the wrist joints, soft through the elbows, shoulders are back and down, and start to rotate your wrist joints, whatever speed you want to go, and you can do this single-handed if need be. And then change direction. And then we'll go one way and one the other. This is actually good for our brains too. And then change direction. Amazing how the hands get neglected. Probably been busy at home doing lots of jobs there. And then bring the arms down, just shake them out a little bit. And then just moving to get some mobility into the neck and the head, really. So just start by turning your head side to side, keeping your eyes at eye level. Doing this slowly and just noticing if one side does feel tighter than the other. That's not uncommon. And we'll do this one more side and back, and then just to your left and to the centre. Now turning your head back to the right, we now do some half circles. So taking the head down and around to the left, and down and around. And by softening your tongue, just in the base of your jaw, stops your jaw tightening and allows release. Might be a little bit of crackling going on. And final one to your right. And then just bringing your head to the centre. Now bringing your earlobe, your right earlobe, towards your right shoulder. Holding for a few moments. You can add in your right hand just to make contact with the left side of your head. Allow that left shoulder to just drop down. And take a few nice slow breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can move your chin and your eyes a little bit. Slide your right hand from your left earlobe to your right earlobe. Ease the head back, and we change sides. So left earlobe towards the left shoulder. You can just hold there, or if you wish, bring the hand just to touch the side of the head there, and allow that right hand just to hang off the right shoulder joint. As long as it takes. You can always press pause. And slide the hand back and just bring your head back there. You might want to just loosen up your shoulders a little bit there as well. I call this the hula hoop because it's really good for circling the spine, getting some mobility there. So soft knees, and just start to rotate the hips. Have you got a hula hoop at home? I don't think we do. I don't think mine would stay there very long. Gently does it. A consideration is the knee joints. So miss it out if the knees are a little bit unhappy. We go the opposite way. Really moving the tailbone, all of the spine, rotating nice and loose. And one more. And then back to the centre. Good. Place your feet hip width apart. If you want more challenge, you can actually stand on your mat. Leave that up to you. I'm actually going to demonstrate on the floor here right now. And start by bringing your right leg forward, lifting the right leg and your right arm. If your tendency to be a bit of a wobble there, bring your big toe on the right foot to the floor, and if possible, raising your right arm up to the ceiling. We take a gentle stretch to the left, expect to wobble, don't fall over, and then back. And we can bring the arm all the way down, and we do that again. You may remember in class that sometimes I call this one the high leg flick. Stretch, and back. We're going to do 3 more. Very tempting to want to do that, which we're going to avoid because we want as much space between your right hip and your right armpit whilst you're balancing. Multitasking on a big scale, this exercise. 1 more, please, and a reach and a stretch and back down. So that worked on balance and what we call a lateral stretch. Changing sides. Now we bring the left leg forward and the left arm. Again, you can have the toe down, you can even keep your arm down if you wish. And reaching up, just letting that hip feel as almost as if it's dropping down as you stretch to the right side, breathing out. And the arm comes back down. I think we did 5. Whoa, here I go. See, now obviously, go at your own pace, do what feels best for you. You can do more or less than me. 2 more left. Hope everyone is okay. And last one. There, my toe went down there. Final one. And we stretch and back. Good. Shake out your legs and your arms a little bit. And we just do a little bit of a stretch there. So clasp the hands together, tuck your tailbone under, bring your chin to the chest. Really nice stretch. And rolling up the body. And just a gentle bend of the knees. And hallelujah your arms. Just go back, up, so the chest stays lifted. Nice energy to the body. 3 more if you can manage. You can always just do the arms or just the legs. And 2. And 1 more. And back. Bring the arms down. We're now going to do what I call a back extension, so it strengthens the back muscles as well as the triceps, which is the back of the arms. I'm just going to move this mat just a little bit along here. And just standing, I'll show you from this angle, with your feet hip width apart, send your tailbone back and just tip forward a little bit. Now we don't want to be in this position because that's likely to compact the vertebra. Neither do we want to be too flexed like this. If you've got a mirror near you or a person near you, fabulous, they can just check that out for you. Most importantly, that your back isn't compromised, your core is switched on. So from this position, just take your arms to your sides, engage your core, and just gently push the arms back in, back and in. Don't want to over squeeze the shoulders or stick the neck out. You want to tip forward a little bit more, you can. You're likely then to feel it more in your quads. Exhale. Inhale. Let's do 5 more. And 4. And 3. It's not over yet. 2. hold here, little pulse, shoulders back and down. Push, 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 push. Version of the 100 this is, which is a nicer version than normal. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the arms down, shake the legs out a little bit. And then we're moving on to an exercise that I call the bow and arrow. And this is really good for mobility in the spine, particularly the middle part of your back that gets quite tight. Again, starting with your feet hip width apart, bring your arms in front of you, drop the shoulders down, and we'll begin with the left hand. I'm going to show you with my left arm, stretching forward. And as the left arm comes forward, your right elbow bends. We're going to feel as if someone's pulling us that way, rotating the elbow. I'm a little bit limited with space here, so you're going to extend the right arm back and then do a half circle to return. Let's change sides. So shoulders down, a bend and turn. Soft knees. If you want your feet a little wider, that's okay. Lengthen and back. And again, and a bend. In a moment, I may just change position so you can see from another angle. Bend and extend. And I'm just going to turn to my side here so you can see where the back arm goes. Soft knees. And just a bend and rotate. And your eyes can even follow where that hand is going. So we want the feeling of that happening. Really lovely stretch. And a circle to come back. Again, I'm going to just do this side so you can see from here, reaching forward, rotating, circle back, one more either side, bend and rotate. Now and again, reminding yourself just to breathe when needed, reach and back, bring the arms down, shake them out a little bit, and just turning to the front here. Just a little bit of weight distribution for the feet now is to start again with your feet hip width apart and take your body weight into the outer edges of the feet. So hopefully you can all see that. And then we roll into the inside of the foot, so we're now creating knock-kneed. And we rotate out and we rotate in. And we go out and rotate in. We'll do two more. It shouldn't hurt. You certainly feel muscles working. And again, one bit might feel a little bit more natural than the other. And last time. And rotate out and rotate in. Back to the centre. Now just try and pick your toes up, not the heels. So just lifting the toes, lower them down. And instead of doing our standard heel raise, we're now going to just try doing a tiny little heel raise. I'll show you from the side view. Hardly notice. If you do want your arms to help you balance, that's okay. Otherwise, it's just you're just putting on a little insole, that's all. And hopefully, the core has woken up and you can feel those muscles working. And that down. So we'll do a couple more of those. A toes first, and down, and then heels. And down. Two more times. So toes. Let's never underestimate. Sometimes the simplest exercises can be really, really effective. And heels. Good. Finally, you might want to take your feet just a little bit wider. I'm just going to shift your body weight side to side. So it wouldn't be kind of hula hoop. Again, this is from your feet. I'm not actually lifting any part of the feet. I'm feeling really connected, very, very grounded, side to side. And now we do a little circle. So for the feet, we go heels, side, and back. Final one. Down and around, back. just to the centre, just standing for a moment, taking a few breaths. Hopefully you're feeling sufficiently warmed up, and I hope you enjoyed that. Well done. Take your arms up, bring the arms down. Last one, and reach and down. Good. Well done, everyone. Thank you. So onto the mat, and we're going to do an exercise. I call it head, legs, legs, head. The head comes up, then the legs go down, the head comes down. But I think, to be fair to you all, I need to show you the modifications. So beginning by lying down on your back, place both legs into tabletop, and you can keep your head and shoulders down for this version, and alternating foot taps. Great exercise. Breathing out. As you tap down, inhale as you come back. So you don't want to grip, don't want to cause any strain to the neck, and all the sensation of the effort should be in your core, not hurting here. So just alternating foot taps. Next version you could do is continue with the foot taps, but lift your head and shoulders and do these. Very effective. Making sure though that you're not doing that, you haven't got a massive gap in the back, and that your pelvis is neither tilted forward or back. It's just in a nice neutral position. And then the final version, the head leg one, is to start with your feet on the floor. Do take care with this one. I'm just going to shuffle along a little bit, so I've got a bit of room for my elbow there. Curl up. Your elbows are in your peripheral vision, engaging your core, cautiously lifting the legs. So I'm going to bring mine about into tabletop, lowering the legs down, exhale, lower the head and shoulders down. Whew. Pilates, haven't been doing as much as normal, and I've been missing it, and this feels good. And legs come down, head and shoulders come down. So we're going to exhale, make sure your pelvis doesn't scoop. Pause, cradling your head, feel the weight of your head relaxing into the palms of the hands, lifting the legs, feeling the weight of the limbs right here. Lower the feet down, lower the head and shoulders. Of course I've lost count, but we do 5 more. Breathing out, pause. Watch your shoulders don't come up like this. Drop them down, belly button to spine, legs return, head and shoulders. And again, breathing out, pause, legs. So also, another watch point, very important, is that you don't shift. So you want to notice the stillness in your body, particularly your spine. Doesn't move around, feet down, head down. We've got 3 more. Breathing out, curling up, pause. Legs lift, legs lower, head down. Last 2. I think I'm going to feel this later. Legs lift, legs lower, head down. Final one. Let's make it good. Legs lower, head and shoulders. Oh, a lovely warm glow. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. You can have a little rock side to side. And always feels good to do a few circles. So just giving yourself that little bit of recovery time. Moving on to an exercise you might remember as swimming, which strengthens the back muscles predominantly, a little bit of involvement with the shoulders, and it can ultimately go to quite a strenuous exercise. So as always, take care, listen to your body, stop if you need to, modify. And I'm going to start from option 1, which would be lying on your front, and you can support your head on your hands like this. A little bit antisocial, me here, I know, understand. And begin by lifting a leg, not too high, lower that down, and change sides.
So what we're doing here is actually encouraging extension of the hip. Shouldn't be feeling any pain in your lower back. You can always put a pillow under your pelvis right here. And if you like to, you can have both legs lifted, and we lower, and we just go slightly quicker. Tap, tap, tap. Also a little bit of work in your glutes as well. Make sure your shoulders are nice and quiet. So that's that option. When we add in the arms, it becomes a lot more complex. So you're now going to have your arms over your head, just like so. Your hands are a little bit wider than your shoulders. Your shoulders are down and back. And just lifting your head and chest a little bit. Now, some of you might be lower, slightly here. Some of you may be a little bit higher. You certainly don't want here to be too curvy, because you've got to use these muscles. So begin by just gently lifting opposite arm to leg. Just going to keep my head still for now so I can concentrate rather than looking at the camera. I'm in a good place, not lifting the leg too high. We don't want to do that. Neither working from this area. So just and down. Now, if you're thinking, wait, not too bad, can manage this, the final level would be both arms and legs lifted, and we tap and tap and just going at a speed that feels right for you. And pause. Of course you can carry on if you like to. Otherwise, just bringing yourself up, really nice to do child's pose after this, a counter pose. And take your knees about the width of the mat or wider. Easing yourself down to have a stretch. Taking a few breaths. And then walking the hands back. Exercise is called scissors, and this is predominantly your core muscles working. The added movement of the legs, so legs can feel fatigued after as well. And the modifications are going to be with your legs in tabletop. So with a shorter lever of the leg, sometimes this is a little bit kinder to quads or hips if you need this version. So lying on your back with your legs in tabletop, not that dissimilar to the foot taps we did earlier. Only difference is we do a double push. So it's a tap, tap. And you might be able to hear there's quite a lot of energy going in my foot, not crazy mad, but just that vibration in turn will make you have to use these muscles a little bit more to stop your back wanting to join in, have this kind of shaking going on. So it's tap and tap. Now, of course, if you'd like to, you have the option to lift your head and shoulders, cradling the head, and tap, and challenging enough in itself. Couple more of these, so if you want to carry on with those, please do. Otherwise, you might feel comfortable to lift your legs up to the ceiling. It's kind of like you're walking on the ceiling, really. And the difference is the lower leg just does a double bounce. So you can now imagine you've got one of those big Swiss balls that you're pushing down and breathing out, down 1 and 2 and so obviously you are in control of the speed of this and the availability you've got in your hips. So if you can go lower, providing that's not pulling on your back, do that. You could also hold the back of your thighs if need be. And then the finale version is to curl up, either hold your calf muscle or your hamstring. I'm going to hold my calf. Watch that you don't end up like this or like this. So we want to come up, but the shoulders are down. And We want to lower this lower foot. 1, 2. Bounce that lower leg. 1 and 2. And 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 oh, so lovely to get back in the zone of these exercises and to share with you. And we do 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Now you can flex the feet. Just want to show you this version, slightly different muscles in the legs. And 5 and 4, just bear in mind your head is unsupported, so there's always this version. And 3 and 2 and 1 and rest down. Good, just have a little moment, rocking side to side. Body temperature might be up, heart rate might be up a little bit, just with that effort of that one. Circling your lower back. And the opposite way. And then just bringing your feet to the floor. Another nice little stretch to do is just to take your knees side to side. Now I'm a little bit limited with the wall here, so I'm just going to go a little bit to that side. And side to side. You might find that your head likes to turn in the opposite direction that your knees are going. And we do that a couple more times. Side to side. Or if you like to, you can just hold for a moment. And then back to the centre, either hugging your knees in towards your chest, or if you prefer, a little bit of a stretch there, extending your arms and legs, and a bend of the knees, and well done. We're now going to do some stretches. First one is a quad stretch, one of the biggest muscles in the body, front of the thigh, gets used a lot. And you've got some options here. The first one is to lie on your side, and you can either be propped up, we can bring your arm down here, and bending both knees, bend the top knee, and just see if you can hold your foot. Now, if that's a real struggle for you, try your trouser leg, or if you're fortunate to have a stretchy band, you can wrap that around the ankle. You want your foot, knee and hip correctly aligned, not one higher than the other at the leg joints, and just bring this leg back. Oops. At the same time, hopefully you can all see me there, you might be able to just scoop your pelvis forward a little bit, and the sensation, I'm going to hook my foot on the wall there, is the front of the thigh. And then allow your foot to push into the hand a little bit. Nice strong stretch. So that's the side lying version. Alternatively, roll over onto your front and bend your knee again. I'm going to show you the same leg. Again, are you able to reach the foot, or are you kind of really struggling and pushing the shoulder back? You don't want that to happen. So just nice and comfortable there, trouser leg or a band, and tilt your pelvis forward. So you want to press the pubic bone into the mat and then allow the foot to push into the hand. Now, if you have the flexibility in your body, then you might just be able to bring yourself up a little bit and get slightly stronger stretch. You've been doing a lot of walking, really good one this. Taking a few breaths. Or just keep the head down. You also want to make sure that your knee isn't right out here. So without hurting your neck, you can have a little glance down to check your knee is aligned with the hip. And then we release. Changing sides. So opposite way. Onto your other side. So either prop yourself up onto your elbow, or you can lie down. I prefer this, and then the upper body can relax as you just purely focus on the stretch right here between the hip and the knee, scooping the pelvis forward. Pushing the foot into the hand. Really feeling lovely length from the hip to the knee joint. Alternatively, onto your front you go. Bending the knee, checking it's not right out here. Holding the foot or your trouser leg, tilting the pelvis forward and foot pushing into the hand. Or, as I showed you earlier, a little bit of a lift to the chest. Just have to be careful this doesn't compact into the lower back. It's actually going to make the quad stretch stronger rather than being problematic here. Hopefully we're all cramp free and that's feeling really good. Great if you've done a lot of walking. Have you been out for your daily exercise? Well, quads get used a lot. Last few seconds, I'm kind of guesstimating a minute or two for each stretch. That's usually a good guideline. And release. Good. And then just a gentle push up. Now we're going to move into a hip flexor stretch. Two options here. The first one is to be lying on your back, extending one leg and bringing the opposite leg in towards you. Now you can either have your hands just below your kneecap, or if you prefer to the back of the thigh, might be a little bit of sensation into the hip here that you're holding. It shouldn't hurt. And what we're trying to aim to do here is get a stretch for the front of the thigh on this leg. So I'd encourage you to almost feel as if you're being tractioned and play about with the foot. Is it more effective with a flex foot or a pointed toe? And just relaxing the shoulders. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. If it's too strong in the hip or knee, just ease this leg off a little bit. Good. Change sides. I'm just going to swivel around. This is kind of why I chose to do the classes this way, is that you can stop, start, pause, do what is necessary, miss bits out. So extending this leg. No, we're not doing this one. Holding the knee in, hands to the back of the thigh there, and lengthen. Try not to have your back arched. How much stretch can you get from your foot to the hip? Can you increase that? Going very deep into the hip of the leg that you're holding. And when we in a moment release this leg that you're holding, it brings in new fresh blood into the hip joint. So that's when we get the benefit. A few more seconds. And release. Now the other version, which is if you've got good knees, you might prefer this one. Still, again, the hip flexor, which is the muscle right up here, is you're on your knees, bringing one foot in front of the other, and just make sure that you're not angled in this position. You want to roll off that knee joint, possibly even put a pillow under there, should not hurt the knee. The front knee mustn't go over your toes. If it does, you need a wider stance. Could just go over the ankle, absolutely fine. And hold on to a wall if you're feeling a little bit unstable. If you have the flexibility and you're comfortable coming low, you can do that. Not my favourite one. I prefer to be up. And encourage your back hip to come forward and the front hip to go back. As I say, this is where we're looking to stretch. It's very, very tight in this muscle here. It's actually above the quad. So does it work for you to drop a little lower or to scoop your pelvis forward and up? And just taking a few breaths. What a lovely stretch this is. Doing the splits by Christmas when we're let out. And then gently coming up, easy on that back knee. Let's change sides. Rotating. So remember, not having the hip above the knee, we want to move forward. And you want to check that this front knee doesn't go over the toes. Quite often we'll end up with a little bit of a pelvis doing that. So we're going to find that alignment by bringing the front hip back and the back hip forward. Have a little play with it. Where do you feel comfortable? Where is your back feeling happy? Are we right here in this muscle? I hope so. Whoops. Hold on. And if ever you feel you can go deeper into and stretch, I'd encourage that for you to do when you've done it for at least a few seconds, and certainly as you breathe out. So just exhale, always soften into it. Make that inquiry first with your body and mind before you make that decision to go a little deeper. Last few seconds. Good. Just again, ease out of the stretch, child's pose if that's what you like to do. Well done. So we're now going to do a pec stretch, the pecs being these muscles across the chest. Get very tight because we kind of favour being in a forward flex position. So it's really lovely to open up the shoulder joint and the pecs. If you're not keen on supporting yourself on your knees, then lie on the mat please, just on your back. And we start with the knees bent. If you are restricted in your shoulders, you can just have your arms out to your sides with the palms up. And then you can start to explore a little bit, taking the arms up a little bit higher. We don't want to be right up here. And if you've got one arm, say for instance my left arm is injured, I could keep this here and play about with this one. If you've got good mobility in your shoulders and you're free of injury, you may be able to do what we call the sleeping baby position, where the rib cage is down, a little bit of chin to the chest, and just feeling the arms relax into the floor. Breathing into the nose, close your eyes, breathing out through the mouth. We have to be careful that we don't have our arms down here and our back is arched. Your rib cage have a relationship with the arms, so the ribs stay down. Another option, if you feel quite open in your hips, is to extend your legs. You can rotate the feet out. And just goes back to when we did the hip flexors earlier, a little bit of a stretch there. So that's that option. The other option involves you being on your hands and knees. And I call this open heart, really nice name for that. Again, it does the same muscles, maybe a little bit into your lats as well. Bend one elbow and extend your opposite arm over the head. So you're going to rest your forehead on the lower part of the arm, and you're going to send your tailbone up and back. We don't want to be sitting back here. So the aim is, hopefully you can all see here, is that you're stretching around the pec, a little bit of the shoulder joint, a little bit there. So opening up the palms, softening the chest down, and taking a few breaths. How does that feel? You can rest on your elbow, you can rest on your hand, that doesn't matter. So if you want a little bit longer there, continue. I'm just going to show you on the opposite side, so bend of the elbow, hand over the head, tailbone up and back, and then encourage your armpit to drop towards the mat. Lovely softening feeling in the chest. Another 2 or 3 breaths. And whenever you've got your head down, always come up slowly, almost like restacking from the base of your spine to come up. Good. Just take a moment. So, just like to say thank you for joining me today. I hope you really enjoyed that and it was a benefit to you and you got what you could out of it. You found there was something that worked for you. And missing you all, well done. Thank you so much and I look forward to seeing you again next week.